I booked a standard room in Paris's new Versailles Tower and received a complimentary upgrade to an absurd suite. Quite the surprise. A quick note, Paris's new Versailles Tower used to be part of Bally's, now Horseshoe, but was absorbed by Paris, renovated, and rebranded as their Versailles Tower. Currently, guests can only access this new hotel tower from Horseshoe's casino floor, but that all changes in the fall of 2024 when a new pedestrian walkway connecting Paris to their new hotel tower is complete. Excited to check out the new room product? I booked their baseline room option on a comp thanks to my gambling activity within the Caesars Rewards loyalty program. I was still on the hook for the resort fee plus tax of $56.63, however. Guests can currently check in at either Paris or Horseshoe at automated kiosks or at the hotel front desk. A detester of human interaction myself, I decided to give the automated kiosks at Horseshoe a try, which are located near the tower elevators. Of course, I was shot down because my credit card could not be read. I moseyed on over to the front desk and was informed that instead of the baseline room that I had booked on a comp, I was getting a complimentary upgrade to a Versailles Premium Suite. Pretty awesome. I had no idea what that meant or the treat that I was in store for, though. On my way up to the room, I realized this is essentially a brand new hotel tower, and common areas like elevator lobbies and hotel hallways reflected that. I arrived in my room 5610, and was excited to find out that this was one of those double door entry suites that I had always been envious of. This is what I walked into when I opened the door and my chin hit the floor. I was not expecting this. After the initial shock wore off, I pulled up the Versailles Premium Suite on Caesars website and learned that this bad boy had 1,700 square feet of space, which is actually more finished square footage than my last house, 3 55-inch TVs, a bar with seating for 3 that had an empty mini fridge, and a Keurig coffee maker with complimentary pods. Across the entryway from the bar was the first of 2 bathrooms, the less fancy of the 2 bathrooms, but still functional. And scattered about the living area was a work desk with one hell of a view, a dining room table with seating for 6, a sectional couch, and some really stylish light fixtures and touches. I made my way into the bedroom, which was separated from the living room, and on its own was bigger than most Vegas hotel rooms. The king bed was framed up by a decorative accent wall and was flanked by end tables that both offered pop-up charging stations that were armed with traditional outlets and USB ports. In front of the bed was a love seat and coffee table that were both aimed at the third TV, and the TV stand even had a second workspace built into it. Next to the floor-to-ceiling windows was a bench that offered great views of the north end of the strip, and then I glanced over at the main bathroom. Holy crap. As you make your way into the main bathroom, the bathtub is showcased front and center right as you walk in. Flanking it on either side are 2 single-sink vanities with stone finishes. To the left was also a powder station, and to the right of the tub, next to the other vanity, was a door to access the toilet. Behind the tub and between the 2 vanities was the shower, which had glass sidewalls, allowing people using either vanity to see right through to the other. Bath products were also provided by Bodyography. So what's not to like? Even in a room of this caliber, I get down on my hands and knees looking for scuffs, stains, marks, other deficiencies, and the only thing I could find were marks left by the construction crew in the shower, which is pretty wild. That's how new this room is. The other kind of elephant in the room is cost. At over $1,000 a night, most nights, this suite is just financially out of reach for most normal folks, including myself. While it wasn't egregious, I could also hear Old Red blaring their country music until the wee hours of the morning from my suite. It wasn't enough to keep me up. I'd describe it more as a low roar, but it's something to keep in mind if you end up on the north side of the tower. Let's shift focus for a second to the resort experience at Paris, and the first thing you notice is theming. In a city that seems to be moving further from themed resorts, Paris has stayed true to its roots. And look, I've now been to both Paris, Las Vegas, and Paris, France. I can barely tell the difference. The only things that kind of strike me as being less than authentic about the Las Vegas version is 1, people are predominantly speaking English, and 2, restaurant workers are the unique combination of both helpful and friendly. That Parisian theme carries on to Paris's casino floor, which is gorgeous. As I milled about, I noticed table minimums for games like craps and blackjack were $15 during the day, and I didn't see any blackjack tables that weren't $6 to $5. The pool, although lacking in grandeur in and of itself, it's just a big circle, is unique in that it's wedged between Paris's hotel tower and their mock Eiffel Tower, and it also provides pretty good views of surrounding resorts on the Strip. It's also a relaxing vibe, as opposed to being a party vibe. Restaurant options at Paris span the spectrum from celebrity steaks all the way to a hole in the wall that you can buy pizza by the slice from. Both Alexa's and Mon Ami offer patio seating overlooking foot traffic on the Strip, perfect for people watching. The Eiffel Tower restaurant is about a third of the way up Paris's mock Eiffel Tower, and as you'd expect, offers great views of the Strip, although a guaranteed window seat is going to cost $40 per person. Probably worth it. While I personally have never ventured inside, my wife has visited the Vanderpump Cocktail Lounge several times now and has reportedly enjoyed her experience. A budget-conscious guy to the core, I chose to stock my empty mini fridge with cheap drinks from the CVS that steps north of Paris, right in between Paris and Horseshoe. Speaking of Horseshoe, there is an indoor walkway that connects Paris's gaming floor to Horseshoe, which came in handy as my hotel room was only accessible from Horseshoe. Location-wise, it does not get much better than Paris. It's right in the middle of the action, steps away from various other resorts, attractions, and restaurants. Paris and Horseshoe also share a monorail stop, and the monorail is a really inexpensive way to get up and down the Strip, all the way south to MGM Grand and north to Westgate and Sahara, with a few other stops mixed in between. Leverage that if you're looking to save a few bucks getting around Las Vegas. Lastly, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Paris's Eiffel Tower experience, an observation deck located 46 stories above the Strip at the top of the Eiffel Tower. I recently did this for the first time and can't believe I slept on it for so long. Not only are the views amazing, but the photo opportunities are next level. I even had a picture I took up top, thrown on a canvas and mounted on the wall in the office. Well worth the $25 the tickets start at. The verdict. Is the Versailles Premium Suite worth the money? A complimentary upgrade to this suite was a truly special experience. This room was impressive. That being said, even with the discounts I have earned through my gambling activity with Caesars Rewards, I can't book this room looking forward for less than $1,000 a night. And quite frankly, I can't afford that. I am going to monitor pricing going into March Madness, the opening weekend of, because I think this would be the perfect home base for my group of guys. I'm not holding my breath. But if this is in your budget, or you're able to score a deep discount or comp based on your gambling activity within Caesars Rewards, I'd say jump on it. This is a brand new suite offering a ton of space, and I had a genuinely great experience. I will not soon forget the excitement I felt walking into that room for the first time. What a surprise.